Welcome back to Speedster Syndicate, where two guys are on a mission to drive the fastest cars in the world. On today's episode, we're going to be featuring a French pocket rocket. As you all know that the era of the combustion engine is unfortunately fading away, the hot hatches still happen to be evolving. This one bringing out an impressive 281 horsepower, but what we have to see today is it only numbers or does it actually provide the raw thrill? Meet the Alpine A290 GT Performance, a French pocket rocket with instant torque and F1 technology. What we have to find out today is that can this hot hatch actually provide raw performance, a raw thrill, or is it just a hoax?
Let's find out. If this car looks familiar, don't be fooled by its design because it is based on Renault 5. This is not a rebadged city car, but Alpine has transformed this car into a performance machine.
Firstly, if you talk about the stance, it's much wider, lower, and meaner than the Renault 5. It's got that classic rally-inspired look with shorter overhangs and pumped-up wheel arches.
These 19-inch wheels are inspired by the F1 car. Check out the Aero elements, a functional air intake, a proper rear diffuser. This car means business.
So this is where things get really interesting. Right when you open the door, you're greeted by this F1-inspired steering wheel. It's minimalist but focused. No large touchscreens covering the entire dashboard, but instead a very driver-centric cockpit with compact displays and physical controls. These seats are very comfortable and they hug you tight while you drive around the corners.
All right, let's talk power. Underneath, we have got a 52 kilowatt hour battery, which powers a front-mounted electric motor and creates up to 220 horsepower. 0 to 100 km per hour in just 6.4 seconds, and more importantly, it has an overtake button.
The Alpine A290 is almost 4 meters in length. It has a boot capacity of 360 liters, which we can show you right now. For a car which is small like this, I think that's a lot of space, ample space. Other than that, one of the major drawbacks that this car has, in my opinion, is the weight, because this weighs almost around 1500 kilograms. If you put it in comparison with Alpine's top-of-the-line variant, which is made for the racetrack, the Alpine A110, this car is actually 400 kilograms heavier than that car.
I love how Alpine designed the front lights of this car. Look at, it does have a projection of X here, and then there is a French flag embossed in it, and it's look very premium, it's look very beautiful. And look at these beautiful two lights with have X on it, and it is really a homage to their heritage, the really heritage of Alpine. Like the rally car used to have this tape duct front lights, and in case if there is an accident, you don't leave the glass, the shattered glass all over for your other competitors. And if you come at the side, just like the front, the whole side of this car is speaking with you. It's aggressive. You can see, you can look on the wider kits, this portion and the other side at the front tire, you can see the front wheel. Above that, the defender is widened. And if you see, they have put a lot of details here, which is actually a homage to the Renault 5 turbo version. The side skirt of this car is actually a part of this body. You don't have to put extra wide body kit on it. It is already there. And if you look at these beautiful blue lines going all the way from the back to the front to the side mirrors, it's look beautiful. These small details make this car a very beautiful and eye-catching car. Although this car is based on Renault 5, but with the help of F1 technique, the aerodynamics, the performance, they have lifted up this car. So this car is not just another rebadged version of any car, but it's actually a performance machine. As I am already impressed by the aerodynamics of this car, this small spoiler, I don't know if it does spoil or it does play any role in aerodynamics, but it's different from Renault 5 and it's beautiful.
So come around the back, I'll show you how much space this car offers. Honestly, when you look at the front or sit at the front, there is ample space. But to sit in the back, my feet are twisted and my knees are all the way stuck with the seat. I can't tell if they made this for kids or for who. Maybe I'll get like 2 inches more when you push this forward. But as of now, things don't look so comfortable when you sit at the back seat. This car supports up to 100 kilowatts of DC fast charging and offers around 364 kilometers of range and a charging time of 3 hours all the way down to 20 minutes. So as we're inside of the Alpine A290 GT Performance, first impressions are that the front seats are definitely very spacious, unlike the back seats. In the back seats, I couldn't even fit my legs. But on the front, honestly, there is a lot of room for your shoulders and for your legs. So being seated on the front, you wouldn't really realize that it's a hot hatch. It kind of gives you like a saloon feeling.
Yeah, and on the corners, it really dives into it, and you see the F1 technology coming into the play.
Yeah, it really sticks to the corners. And again, being a hot hatch, you kind of have this fear that it's going to tilt over if you go too fast in the corner. And obviously you shouldn't go way too fast in it. But you really feel that the tires are gripping the street. And part of the credit also goes to the all-wheel driving system. And then it's backed up by the computers, which make sure that everything stays balanced on the road.
Let's talk about some technical stuff of this car. There's an OV button, which is actually called as an overturning, or if you want to overtake someone. What does it do? Actually, it does, when you press this button, you get a full throttle. You have to press the pedal a little bit so that it knows that the button is working. But at the same time, when you press that button, you get a full throttle for 30 seconds. So it's not extra horsepower, but it's like kind of a boost, and it's quite fun. Then you have here the setting. There's a knob here from which you can change the regenerative braking, and then it has different modes: sport mode, normal mode, eco mode, and then there's a personal mode. If you want to set, you can set it accordingly. But one thing that sets me out, or which I don't like, is the steering. The steering is a little bit bigger that I think this car should have, and that's the only thing which caught my eye on till now, a negative point. But still, it's an Alpine.
Honestly, if I may add my opinion, to me the steering is not too big. I think it was a bit high. I could have also maybe pulled it down a little. Do you want to try to pull it down?
No, I think so. It's not higher. It's
Because there's like
ample of space, because the seats are not big. They are smaller seats.
I don't think they're so small, man.
If you compare it with the Renault 5,
maybe compared to the Renault 5, they're small. But I still think there's a lot of space between the legs and the steering wheel. You could still like pull it down, and maybe it feels more compact.
So it has different regenerative brakes modes. So it has 3 modes. When you are in the city, just do the most highest, just set the most highest regenerative brake. Then you don't have to press again and again the brake pedal. But there is a difference when you shift from the regenerative braking to the pedal, to the brake pedals. There is a little bit subtle that there's a subtle feeling that you feel when you are just jumping from these 2 brakes during driving. Other than that, no massive display. Very beautiful. The cockpit, driver center cockpit.
Actually, I like the interior, how they use this pink light to highlight the A290.
Yeah.
And this leather on the dashboard actually is also really gives you a premium vibe. The plastics don't make the cheap sounds, so this is also one more plus. There's a small dashboard here. Some storage spaces which are not the biggest.
It is very big. If you put your hand inside, it goes all the way till here.
Yeah, but it's not so wide. You can just hardly put your hand inside. And this thing that I've noticed right now is that it kind of, when you talk about the cockpit space, it has lesser storage space, than even the Alpine A110S. And if you talk about the performance, the A290 has a race-tuned chassis. It also has torque vectoring, and also as well as a limited slip differential, which is highly assistive when you're handling the car, and we've actually experienced this.
The Alpine came into play. They housed the motor in an aluminum cover housing. So They tried to cut some weight.
And if you compare it with like the Mini SE, I feel like the Mini SE is more front heavy, not as sharp as the Alpine, and as well as the Abarth 500. If you put it in comparison, that car actually has very loud fake sounds, and I don't find that exciting.
So Alpine actually recorded this sound of an engine and then like kind of compressed it. And then even if when you lose the pedal, you hear that the engine going down. There is no engine, but it kind of
The EV engine sound.
the EV engine, but it's not a petrol engine. You can hear it. But if you want to think how the electric motor work, so it gives you a feeling of that when you are pressing the pedal, leaving the pedal. So it's a good sound. Actually, it has two modes, lower and higher mode.
Unlike the other models, it only has two modes. Unlike the other models, it only has two sound modes, because the Ioniq, the Clio, all of them have several different sound modes based on the way you like it. But this one just has a high pitch and a lower pitch, so you can only choose between those two.
And the one thing I want to mention, this is the first high-performance EV vehicle of Alpine. So Alpine,
That's the first one they've produced.
yeah. So the Alpine entered into the EV market. So high-performance EVs were not that much in the market before, but with this, the Alpine made a statement. The hot hatch are really fun to drive. So
The hot hatches, in my opinion, were always fun to drive. I mean, look at the Yaris, look at all these other ones. They were always fun to drive, but what I was skeptical about was that is it still fun to drive when it's an EV?
it's fun.
The plus that I've seen is that since it's a hot hatch, it's compact and small, you still feel more adrenaline and more action when you're taking corners, because you can feel the movement with the car, even though the engine vibration and the engine sound is not there. So could it be more fun with the gas power in it? Maybe. Is it still fun without it?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And the suspension, Alpine used F1 technology to design the suspension. Then it has a front and back roll cage at the same time. So yeah, Alpine did come into play.
Yeah, and if you want to check out our video of the Alpine A110S, click the link right above us, and you can enjoy that video as well. The buttons,
They are analog, and that's what I love about Alpine.
yeah.
Actually,
There are only buttons on the steering wheel and maybe for the climate control. I don't like buttons for gears, but that's just the times we're living in now. Another comparison I want to draw between the competition and this one is that the Alpine, as we mentioned before, has a 364 kilometer battery range. But if you compare it to the Mini SE and the Abarth 500e, they have a range of merely 234 and 265 kilometers respectively, which is basically 100 or more kilometers less than the Alpine.
and one thing more is that it does come with a Google Assistant.
Yes.
And this is what you don't find in so many new cars, that the Google Assistant is not there. But we tried this system and it's very responsive, and that's a fun. Like for example, the MG Cyberster, you can't even connect it to Bluetooth, or even you can't connect it. You have to connect a wire, and maybe we can show you some.
Yeah, okay, let's show them this then. Hey Google, turn on the AC, please.
Okay, turning on the aircon.
Hey Google, turn off the AC.
Got it. Turning off the aircon.
So Renault 5 is actually a very good base of this car. That's why Alpine did not have to start from scratch. They fiddle with the suspension, they fiddle with the performance, they fiddle with the steering, and they fiddle with the aerodynamics, and that all sums up to a very fun, sporty hot hatch.
Yeah, and just to finish this off, to put it in easy words, the Alpine A290 GT Performance is the bigger, more powerful, and more fancy sibling of the Renault 5.
Alpine's built-in performance data system gives you live info like G-forces, throttle input, lap times, and even energy regen metrics.
All right, now the important question. How much is this actually going to set you back? Or how much is this going to hurt your wallet? So in France, the Alpine A290 GT Performance starts with a price of around 38,700 euros, which is basically Golf GTI money.
And for this price, you are getting a high-performance electric hot hatch. And now this is time to put this car on our Mashallah meter. Looks 8.5 out of 10. It's got that really DNA, wide stance and those signature Alpine detail, X lights and flared arches. Way more character than a mini electric or even a Cupra Born. Performance. It's a strong A. Instant torque, grippy chassis, copper LSD, and that overtake button is no gimmick. Compared to something like the Abarth 500e or Peugeot E208 GT. The A290 feels sharper, more alive. Price 7.5. Starting at 41,900 euros. It's in Golf GTI territory. But for an electric hot hatch with Alpine's pedigree and F1 inspired tech, that's a compelling package. Total score, that's a spicy 24 out of 30. The Alpine A290 GT Performance earns a Mashallah certified badge from us.
So our conclusion of today's video is that the Alpine A290 GT Performance makes a statement that hot hatches are not dead. They just went electric.
Would you take a petrol hot hatch over this electric? Let us know in the comments.
And if you like this video, if you like fast cars, and if you want to keep on seeing two guys chasing a mission to drive the fastest cars in the world, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe drop a comment. Stay fast, stay loud, Speedster out.